welcome to the Palm Springs Linguist channel. My name is Andy, and I'm an American from Palm Springs, California. I speak an American English dialects from the west of the United States. And if you could introduce yourself and your channel.
Yeah, of course. Hi, everyone. My name's Pat. I'm from the south of England, specifically. If you know England, Dorset is a county. England's split up into counties, we call them.
Uh-huh.
They're like little states, you know?
Okay.
I'm from Dorset, the southwest of England. Laid Back Languages is my baby. It's my child. It's my business that I've been running for the past 3 years, coaching in English, French, Spanish, Italian, and now Portuguese as well, Brazilian Portuguese. So my main goal with that is to help English speakers, specifically native, from England.
Uh-huh.
The ones who go to Spain, they go to France, they go to Italy on holiday, but they don't speak the language, you know. My dream is to get normal people speaking languages, so those are the people who I work with.
So would you say in the UK, what are the most popular 2 or 3 languages to learn other than obviously English?
Definitely Spanish. I'd say Spanish and French. Those are the 2 that we are quote unquote taught at school. They try to teach us at school. German as well, I've heard in some schools they teach German. But yeah, speaking from my own personal experience teaching, Spanish is the most popular language. And then after Spanish, French and Italian kind of similar.
Okay.
I find that, a lot of people go on holiday to Spain. And of course, Spanish is so widely spoken as well. Like, it's not just in Spain, you can go and speak it. Like, I've had people come to me who've planned trips to South America and they've got 6 months and they want a big crash course in Spanish. I'm like, okay, let's go, see where you get. And then they come back from South America speaking Spanish, you know, so.
You know, one of the videos that I've done in the past was a video on the 10 most frequently spoken languages, or the 10 languages with the most native speakers in the world. And Spanish came out number 2 above English. Yeah, so Spanish is a big language here as well. In fact, that would be our absolute number 1 second language for people, including myself. I actually became a Spanish dual language, Spanish bilingual teacher in elementary school for a while. But let's talk about English, our 2 different dialects of English. So I'm curious, as somebody from the UK, if you're talking on the phone, so you don't have any visual representation, all you can do is you can just hear the person.
Right.
What's the biggest giveaway that you're talking to an American?
Oh, that's a great question. So just going off of the accent or the way they say things?
Just what you hear, yeah. Now, you can't see the person.
Yeah.
You just hear them.
I mean, the accent obviously is very, very distinct.
Is there a specific part of the accent that really stands out as, oh, that's definitely American?
American. The vowels, yeah. American. Yeah, I'd say American. It's more, I think it's more nasally, I would say. The vowel sounds are more nasally in general. Yeah, like, okay. You said okay. I'd say okay. It's more in the nose.
Yeah.
And, so I'd say that stands out for me for sure. I recognize when I'm speaking to an American because of the American twang, like America.
Yeah. I have to say the same thing from my perspective. If I was listening to somebody on the phone and a dead giveaway that they're British, I would have to say the vowels as well. And I feel like I can even specify a specific vowel. When Americans would say ah, and then a British person says something more like ah, you pronounce it. I'll say it in American, you tell me in British. Grass.
Grass.
Yeah, see, that's a dead giveaway that you're not American when I hear that.
But that's a good point, because in the UK, I believe we've got about 27 different accents.
Yes.
And I'm from the south of England, so I would say grass.
Uh-huh.
Imagining that there's an R in there when there's not, grass. But in the north of England and in the Midlands, they say grass.
Oh, okay. Interesting. My exposure to other than like on TV and stuff like that, I've been to England several times, and like the surrounding area of England, and of course, obviously, there's a mix of people because that's obviously very metropolitan, and people come from all over. But obviously, there's a specific accent or accents from that area, and that's what I've heard the most. So that's interesting that there are some Brits that say grass like we do.
Yeah, to be honest, I'd say that my accent is probably, or the way of saying grass at least, is the minority.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I'd say so. In the south, we tend to speak like that grass, but then even if you go like the west, because I'm kind of southwest, you've got a bit of a split. So there are people who speak like me. Bearing in mind, my parents are from Oxford and Cambridge.
Okay.
So they would be more. Well, my mother from Cambridge would be more grass.
Okay.
And Oxford is a mixture of grass and grass. Yeah. And then here in the West Country, that's how they speak. Like the farmers, they would say grass.
Okay. Another giveaway for me is R's. R's like at the end of words, like the name Peter. Like how would you say the name Peter?
Extremely differently. Two different ways, because we've got the T in the middle. I would naturally cut it out and say Peter.
Oh, okay. With a glottal stop.
Yeah.
I love that.
Yeah, which is where the infamous meme of say a bottle of water.
Yeah. I love that.
Yeah, that's because we don't pronounce the T in the middle. We should. At school, we're all taught to pronounce the T's. It's a really big thing.
Okay.
They say, no, don't say letter, it's letter.
Okay, so that kind of explains some comments that I've had. I've done some YouTube videos where British people have made comments about the way I talked. And one of the things that they pointed out, and they couldn't really get over, was the way that I pronounce T's, especially in the middle of the word. So for water, I use what's called an alveolar tap. Water, kind of like the Spanish R, like in garo or perro. It's in the western part of the United States, whenever there's a T in the middle of two vowels and the first vowel is emphasized, we never say, you'd never hear an American say water. Never. You never hear the T. It just doesn't happen.
No, so that would be another, a telling sign that I was talking to an American. Yeah, for sure, the water. And actually, I did a live today on a different platform. And there are lots of international people, and they were asking me about the differences between American English, British English. And I was teaching a little bit of, etymology of words. And I was saying to them how, I won't get too deep into it, but, T and D are the same letter.
Yeah.
You'll know this. Yeah.
It's the same point of articulation in the mouth.
Exactly. And then when you learn Spanish and Italian, it's mind-blowing because, let's use an easy example. Comprado. He comprado. I have bought. Yeah. In Italian, ho comprato.
Oh.
So the T is D. Yeah.
Okay.
I know. Same letter. Yeah, I'm really into all that stuff, the etymology and seeing where the words come from, and very, very cool. Yeah, so T and D are the same letter, and that's more evidence, isn't it, with how Americans say water.
Yeah. Okay, so another word that I was criticized for, although this is kind of related, is the word mountain. So how would you say mountain? Yes, you didn't even recognize it.
No, I didn't understand what you were saying. That was like mountain.
Mountain. So Mountain, like the mountains, climbing the mountains. How would you say that? Mountain.
So mountain is a word I would definitely pronounce the T in, just
Yeah.
because mountain, the mountains, you can get away with it. But
Yeah.
it's one of those words that if I wanted to be like understood, even by like a fellow Englishman,
Uh-huh.
I would say mountain. Yeah, I pronounce it. You guys dropped it.
Well, it's a very similar situation to the T, and it's just that the N and the T together are basically pronounced as a single sound, and it's nasalized. So it's a similar phonological process as water. Doing a velar tap. It's just nasalized. But here that sounds perfectly normal. Like nobody would ever think that I'm not pronouncing the word. But clearly, probably most of the rest of the world would be like you. Like, what is he trying to say?
Yeah, and I find myself being like hyper aware of that when I speak to, even when I speak to Americans sometimes, but definitely when I speak to international people, I'm very aware of like pronouncing my T's and not being lazy. Do you know? Because we can have a lot of issues with the communication when a British person drops too many T's. Sometimes it's like, what are you saying?
Yeah. Okay, so one time I came across some wording in England at a park that I've never gotten clarity on. So I'm curious. It was a sign. It was like you go into a park and there's a sign. It has like all the rules of the park. One of the rules that just as an American, completely made me laugh. It said, "No antisocial behavior." So, what does that mean?
Wow. So you don't say that? No, you don't say like antisocial.
Well, we do, but to us, if you're antisocial, that means like, you're like crossing your arms and you don't want to talk to anybody. Or if somebody came to a party and they brought a book and they sat in the corner and they read their book rather than talking to people, to us, that's antisocial behavior.
Right, okay. Yeah, that's understood as antisocial as well. But it's also antisocial behavior is like, it's something you would only really see on signs. I'm trying to think now.
Like, what are they trying to tell you to not do when they put that on a sign?
Can I swear on this podcast?
Sure.
I'll use some English slang swear words. We can get into that next.
Yeah.
Seemingly move into talking about slang. If you're acting like, if you're being a knobhead, then that's what that means. Do you know knobhead? Do you know that?
Knobhead. No, I don't think I've heard that, or barely.
Knob dick, same thing.
Oh, okay. Oh, well, I'm glad you said that, because no, that's not how I understood that at all. When you said that, I was thinking like a blockhead. Like Charlie Brown, somebody would tell Charlie Brown, to insult him as a kid. Yeah, obviously that's not what you meant.
No. Knobhead is a very English term and insult. Yeah, if someone's being antisocial behavior might be like vandalism, throwing things.
Okay.
That's why you'd see a sign like around a park, no antisocial behavior. Maybe even doing drugs, things like that in a park, somewhere where there are children around, or like drinking, like groups of teenagers. It's mostly aimed at them,
Interesting. Yeah, it would never be worded that way. That's the image of them telling you specifically that you have to be more social. Just made us smile.
That's good. You thought it was like, get off your phone.
Yeah, exactly.
Get off your phone and talk.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, so here's another one that I'm going to tell you what we say in American English, and then tell me what you say in British English. Okay, so imagine you're on the freeway, and we would say, if it's really, really crowded, we're just stopping and going, we would say it's bumper to bumper traffic. I'm pretty sure you don't say that.
We'll come back to that in a second. The freeway. Well, we don't say freeway for one.
What would you say?
Do you know the English for the English? The correct English. No,
Yeah.
you know what we would say for the freeway?
No.
Motorway.
Motorway. Okay.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So the freeway is the motorway.
You know, I
So you
probably
say,
haven't noticed that because I'm scared to death of the idea of driving on the left side of the street. So I've never rented a car when I'm in the UK.
no, fair enough. I can understand. I'll have to drive next year. I'll be driving in Italy, so you can imagine they're crazy for one, the Italian
Yeah.
drivers. But back to your question, bump. Do you know what? I've only ever heard that in the song, a really famous song.
Oh, yeah?
Bumper to bumper, the avenue's packed. Gotta get. What song is that?
I don't know.
It's a really famous one. Is it Vanilla Ice? Ice, baby. I think it's that.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
So,
yeah, I think
you know,
it's-
of course, you know, with bumper to bumper traffic, you're referring to, like, here's the car in the back. The very front of it is its bumper. And then the car in front of it, the back of it is there's a bumper. So bumper to bumper traffic, meaning like the bumpers are almost touching.
Yeah, well, we wouldn't be able to say that as an expression in English. You say like it's jam-packed, we'd say.
Okay.
Something like that. Yeah, because bumper, what do we say for bumper? But like the bonnet, we call it.
Bonnet, yes. Okay.
Bonnet, we've got the bonnet and the boot is the back bit.
That's what I was expecting you to say. Yeah, that's that's another one that kind of makes us smile. It just I feel like the connotation of that is so different, but of course, you know, that's from an American perspective. That's the beauty of the differences of the dialects.
Yeah, for sure. I've got a question for you if you don't mind. It's just come to mind. Is American English an older version of English? As I believe it to be the case for Spanish. You can correct me if I'm wrong on that as well. But my feeling is that the way that they speak in South America, Central America as well, is like an older Spanish. Is it the same with English? Do you know?
You know, I'm to be honest, I'm not sure about the answer. I've certainly heard that question, and I think that's a fascinating question. Something that I've never really understood about the nature of that question is that, okay, obviously English started in England, and then, you know, people traveled. Well, these people kept speaking English, right? And then these people are speaking English as well, and now they're separate, and now they're both evolving and changing. And so I guess the nature of your question is, has American English evolved and changed less drastically than the English in the UK? And that I don't know the answer to, but I think that's a fascinating question.
Yeah, that's a very, very valid point. They've obviously changed a lot over the years,
Yeah, like that, there's a famous saying, the British in the United the Great Britain and the United States are divided by a common language.
Yeah. Do you know what? I find that I think probably because of our exposure to like American English, or maybe because the British accent is harder to understand. But I find that a lot of the slang words and like the accent in general, your average English person could easily understand. Even like go to America and communicate. You know, we know to say, we would probably say the boot, but then quickly say the trunk when we get a weird look like that's the boot.
Yeah.
You know. I can't remember where I was going with that now. But yeah, I think that it's probably to do with the influence of TV and just because do you get much exposure to like British English in America? My feeling is that you don't. My feeling is, and I know I've never been to the States, so I'm really ignorant about it. But my feeling is that you've got like America, you know, like American TV, American food, American this, American that, and everything else. It's like the world is America, and then there's kind of another thing, other countries kind of somewhere.
I think sadly we're very focused on ourselves. And also there's I think part of the reason of that is, we are an extremely large geographical country, and then, just to the north of us is Canada, who, yeah, they do speak a different dialect slightly, but it's pretty close to what we speak. I play tennis every day. I'm out in Palm Springs, and there's a lot of Canadian snowbirds that during the winter come down, and I end up playing with them. And most of the time, I can't even tell that they're speaking a different dialect. Every once in a while, they'll say something that will stand out. One time, this guy was talking about he was working on his project, and even though I know that Canadians and Brits don't say project like we do, it threw me off. I was like, "You're working on your project?" Like, it's amazing, even with all my linguistics training, how easily somebody who's speaking a different dialect of English can get me lost.
Yeah, see, for me, I would say project. Project.
Oh, very similar to me.
Yeah, and then the verb to project something, I would say project.
Yeah.
So that's the difference.
I would as well. Yeah.
Yeah, just Canadians.
Okay, so if you don't mind, I'd like to get into some grammar issues. Difference.
Oh, you can try. Grammar's it's not my hot subject, but try.
Well, just based on your ear. So
Yeah.
one of the things that it really stands out to Americans is when Brits say things like, "Oh, we need to go to hospital." When we hear that, I mean, we in American just simply cannot say that. We have to throw in the word "the."
Right. Okay. It's another one of those. In the South, we would 100% say go to the hospital.
Oh, really?
I need to go hospital. No, I wouldn't say that.
Oh,
Go to
interesting.
the hospital. But up north, they shorten. I'm trying to think of a good example. With the pub, if you want to go to the pub, I'd say, do you want to go to the pub? They'd say, you want to go to the pub?
Oh, really? So they would skip over the word "the" with pub too.
Yeah, to the they say top.
How about university? Can you say "I'm going to university"?
I'm going to university. Yeah.
Yeah, we can't say that here.
You say college though.
We can say either. Yeah. There's actually a little bit of a difference between university and college in American English. Like a university, a college might be just for 2 years, where university is definitely for 4 years. However, college is kind of a generic term. So if I was going to a university, I could definitely say I'm going to a college as well. But you can't say the opposite. I can't go to, we call it junior college. If you go to a junior college, you can't call that a university.
Because I've also heard Americans say that they're going to school, referring to university as school.
Yeah.
For me, I'm like, what? You're 23. Why are you going to school?
So you think of that as something for kids?
Yeah, of course it is.
Oh,
School.
Interesting.
Yeah, you've got. Let's think. See if I can remember. We've got primary school.
Uh-huh.
Sometimes, so that primary school. Let's say I don't know now. I think the kids are getting in school earlier and earlier. But for me, let's say it was like 6 to 11.
Okay.
Then we do have middle school. Some regions you'll find middle school, which is like 11 to 14. But normally you've got primary school, senior school, which is an 11 to 16. But now I think they have to stay on until they're 18. But normally it's 11 to 16. And then after that, you've got 16 to 18. That's the age you do college. That's what we call college. And then after, university.
Oh, so is college... You said college was from 16 to 18 years old?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. So that's very different for us because you're an adult going to college. We don't have... 16 to 18-year-olds would still be going to what we call high school. So our system is you start with elementary school, You could call it grade school as well. And then you either go to a junior high school or a middle school. And the difference is just the grades. Like one starts a year earlier than the other. So one or the other. And then you go to high school. And then after that, if you continue, you either go to a college or a university.
Yeah, grade. That's another word we don't. I think you say grades for like we call them years.
Oh,
so
really?
We would say, yeah. That throws a lot of Americans off. They think, what?
Yeah.
So when you're in, let me try and translate to American. So in high school, when do you start high school? 11?
It depends on whether you went to a middle school or a junior high. If you went to a middle school, you start at ninth grade, 9th, 10th, 11th, and 12th. And then if you started in if you went to a junior high school, then it would just be 10th, 11th, and 12th grade.
Okay.
So like 16, 17, 18, something like that.
Okay. We just say year. So we'd have like year 7, year 8, year 9, year 10.
Oh, that's
11.
interesting. What about the other sense of the word grade? Like you get a report card and your teacher puts down your grades. Like, oh, you got an A in history and a B in English.
Oh, hang on. Let me try and remember now. The British word's gone out of my head. We don't say grade. What do we say? We could say grade. What grade did you get? What mark did you get? We say mark.
Mark, okay.
We use that word, yeah. Mark. And no other words are coming to me at the moment. What mark? What grade?
How about note? Would you say that?
No, we wouldn't know.
No, okay.
You're guessing from Spanish, Yeah.
Well, and sometimes I'll read things about different differences, but then I don't know if this is like something common or not.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay, so talking about different subjects. So one that really stands out to an American's ears is, what's the word that's short for mathematics?
Yeah, maths.
Yeah, that can't be plural in English. And I know logically, I think that British English probably makes more sense because it's short for mathematics. You would think that mathematics is plural, so math should be, and that's a dead giveaway. If we hear that, clearly it's a British person.
Yeah, for sure. What would you say for I'm trying not to give away how we would say it. Like when you do sports, what do you call that?
Playing sports?
In school, I mean, like in school, like the lesson.
Oh, physical education?
Oh, okay, the same. We call it PE.
Oh, yeah, we do as well.
PE, okay,
Yeah.
all right then.
Yeah. Huh.
PE. I can't think of any more differences with the subjects. Yeah, math is just the standout one, isn't it? Math.
Okay, how about some? One of the differences that I've heard about was collective nouns. So, like, if you say the staff, referring to a group of people, in American English we have to say the staff is. Like, the staff is upset over this. What would you say?
Yeah, we'd say the staff are. Yeah, because we're referring to the people are. I've not thought about that one before. Yeah, the staff. Yeah, for example, or if you go into a shop, the staff are really nice here. The staff are.
Yeah.
The staff is. No, it just sounds wrong.
Yeah. That's one where, when I think about it, it's like, well, in a way, the British way seems like it's more logical because clearly you're talking about a group of people. So it's, when you think of a group of like more than one person, you think, oh, well, that must be plural. So, which kind of makes me think that the British way makes a little more sense logically. But then you get into the issue of what if there's more than one group? Like, what if there was a staff from one store and another staff at another store, and they came together at a party? You'd say to us, if you said, oh, the staffs are at the party, that would be very clear that there's two different groups there. Would that just be ambiguous for you, or what would that mean to you if I said that?
The staffs. What would I understand? The staffs are at the party. Oh God, I've never ever heard someone say that.
Or here's another context that might make a little more sense. What if, like, let's say you're playing a game and you've got two teams. You know, the teams, like, would you say the team are, or would you say the team is? Like, the team are ready to play, or the team is ready to play?
The team is playing. Well, that one, I've heard both.
Okay.
I've heard both. It's something with sports teams. I don't know if you say this in America. I find this very strange with British English. But we'd refer to, say, I support Arsenal, like football club, a soccer team.
Okay.
I'd say, if my girlfriend asked me, did Arsenal win? I would say, yeah, we won. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I wouldn't say Arsenal won.
Uh-huh.
Or I'd say we won. Do you have that in America?
I think we can do it just the same way that you do it. That doesn't stand out to me at all.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay. I thought I'd ask because in Spanish, there's very strange. They don't say that in Spain.
Okay, so speaking of Spanish, one of the differences between Spanish and English that I find really interesting is, the word for you, and whether it's tú or usted, but the plural, ustedes.
Mm.
So if I said, how do you say ustedes in English? In British English? Like if...
How do you say ustedes in English?
Yeah.
You guys?
You guys? Okay, that's exactly what I would say as well. You guys. And I find myself, even if it's a group of women, you guys naturally comes out of my mouth. Sometimes afterwards it feels a little awkward. But yeah, we handle it the same way.
Okay, so you wouldn't say YALL. Is that just a southern thing?
It's specifically Southern. So that is American English, but specifically Southern. And that's a giveaway to us if somebody's not from the West Coast. Like if they're from the South. In fact, I have a sister that, I live in California, which is on the West Coast. And I have a sister that just moved to Texas. And Texas is kind of like the beginning of the South, if you're going from west to east. And so I've been teasing her that, I'm waiting for the first y'all to come out of your mouth. And if you think about it, it's really a pretty useful word. It's just a single syllable for for all of you or you guys or, all the roundabout ways that we have to make you plural.
Yeah, I like y'all. I like it. You or it makes a lot of sense. I would never be able to use it with my accent. It just sounds terrible like that. But y'all.
Honestly, I don't think that we can use it either because if somebody who's not from the South says it, it almost sounds like you're making fun of them or something. It's like it just doesn't really work. Even though it's a great word, I would love for it to encroach in on other dialects since it's so useful and efficient.
Yeah, me too. It would never make it in the UK, sadly.
No.
So we have to make do with you guys. There we are.
Okay, so a question I have for you is when you have people from other European countries come and they're speaking English to you, have they been taught British English, American English, or can you even tell by the way they're speaking?
Oof. I don't think, depending on their level, you can normally tell if someone has purposely learned American English or British English. Just from their accent, I can normally tell. But in general, do they learn British or American? I think the schools strive to teach them British English.
Mm-hmm.
We've got the Cambridge exam. It's quite a prestigious qualification here. So I think that a lot of the Europeans train for that exam, and they study for that exam, but they inevitably, unless they've lived in the UK or they've got friends from England or wherever, inevitably they end up speaking American English, or having more of an American twang, let's say.
Okay.
Just because I think, well, kind of looping it back around to the vowel sounds that we started off conversation talking about. It's just easier. It's easier to imitate because I think the vowel sounds are more open in the United States, especially if you're from if you're Spanish speaking or Italian. French, I'm not really sure, but it's just easier, I think, to copy the accent and the like an is normally an in American English. In our English, as we said, like the grass and grass, it's harder to copy. You've got to put more effort in, I think.
Yeah. Okay, so here's maybe a question that we can go out on. What impression? What do think of just like a typical British person, somebody who doesn't have the language training that you do? Think about other people. What is their opinion of American English? Like, honestly.
Oh, American English or Americans?
Oh, well, that is a good distinction to make. So, no, let's do the American English.
American English. I think if you asked an English person to imitate an American, they definitely say YALL.
Uh-huh.
Howdy. I think if they know, like if they've been to the States, I think they would know to either not say or to say howdy. Like howdy's from the South as well, correct? Howdy.
That I could see people in the West. It almost sounds like a cowboy saying that.
Yeah.
Yeah. That almost I could see that maybe in the South, but in the West as well. But it's kind of, I think that's more of a difference of like being from a big city versus being in the country.
Yeah. Okay. There's more of a country way of speaking. I really like it. Does it mean? I'm guessing now, but how does it come about? How you doing or something like that? Howdy.
I haven't looked up that etymology, but that makes sense to me because how, like we could say how do you do as a greeting, and that the U starts with a Y, and it has the D in it. That completely makes sense to me.
Yeah, I reckon that might be it.
Yeah.
So yeah, going back to your question, then we definitely hear an English person saying, "Hi y'all, howdy." What do we think of of American English?
Yeah, like do British people feel that one version is better than the other? No. We in general, I think we concern ourselves with other things. I really don't. I know in America you've got or in the States I should say, like the English accent has a bit of a reputation. Like you might hear an English accent and think, oh, that person's intelligent, for example. Yes.
Is that right?
Absolutely.
It's not really the opposite. I think a few Americans think that it's the opposite. We hear an American accent and think that, oh, that person's stupid, but because we're so exposed to it now. Like all over. Okay, films are one thing, but now we've got YouTube as well.
Mm-hmm.
People like Joe Rogan. I mean, it gets listened to all over the world. So I can recognize when someone is American from their accent, but I don't think about it. So from that, I don't really. I guess other people will be the same. They don't really have any kind of thoughts.
I'd say a typical American that doesn't have language training or a language background, that they think very favorably of British English. Some of them will go as far as to say like, oh, well, that's, the proper way to speak. And of course, all of that's nonsense. Like one dialect is not better than another dialect, just like one language is not better than another language. But I think that is typical for a lot of Americans to think that.
Yeah, that's one thing I have noticed. Yeah, they do like they do like the English accent. I found myself when we'll finish on this bit, I guess. When I've been around very pretty American girls, I found myself speaking a lot more posh.
Oh yeah.
Hello, yes, I'm fine, thank you. Yes, no, I am British. Yes, of course. Oh, you like my accent?
Hey,
So
why
I
not
picked
play
up on
off of
that.
it? Yeah.
Why not? You've got to, use what the Lord gave you.
Absolutely, absolutely. Well, this is a lot of fun, and if you ever want to do this again, I'm more than happy to. We can do something on your channel if you'd like, or again on my channel. So everybody, please subscribe to both of our YouTube channels. I'm Palm Springs Linguist right here, and please subscribe to Laid Back Languages as well. I'll put a link in the description to Pat's channel, Laid Back Languages. And I hope to talk to you again. This was fun.
Likewise, yeah, it's really good. Thank you, Andy. Pleasure.
Thank you.